Hey everyone, it's Professor Heaton. Welcome to the first unit of class. What I'm going to do in this message today, I'm going to keep it brief and let you know everything that you need to know in order to be successful for this very first unit. So I'm underneath the Lessons tab in Blackboard, and you can see all the files for the different units here, as well as the Introductions discussion board, which if you have not completed that, please make sure that you do that before the end of this unit. If you're unsure of how to do that, go back and watch the introduction video that I sent out about a week ago. Okay, so I'm going to click on Unit 1 Analysis. Now please make sure that you're paying attention to these dates that you see on your Blackboard page. Hopefully you're watching this video around the first date, and you need to submit everything that is assigned in this unit by 11:59 p.m. on the second date. Okay? Alright, I'm going to click on Analysis. For the first unit of class, we'll focus on three primary questions. What the heck's the argument? What's the evidence for that argument? And what's the point? Why even make the argument? So in order to develop unique ideas and communicate them effectively, which is the goal of this class, it is imperative to understand the nuance and complexity of the text, as well as the evidence the argument is grounded in. So throughout this course, we're going to be implementing different templates and elements from a book called They Say, I Say, to flex and exercise our writing muscles. So like I said in the introductory video, writing is just like any other skill. Basketball, dancing, swimming, cooking, whatever it is, it's a skill that you have to practice in order to excel at. So many students tell me that they're terrible at writing, and that's not true. You just haven't practiced a whole lot yet. So a lot of students, when they encounter the templates from They Say, I Say, they kind of balk a little bit. It feels weird. Because what the templates are going to do, they're going to give you starting phrases and transition phrases, and essentially what you're doing is you're just going to fill in the blanks for the discussion boards. A lot of students think this is really weird. It's almost like it's cheating, but it's not. What it's doing is it's helping you see the tools and methods for effective academic writing. And my hope is that by doing enough of these templates, you're going to start to flex those muscles and build some muscle mass whenever you get to the essays. So that's the goal. Okay, now we're just warming up for Unit 1. I'm not trying to overwhelm you. That's why it's a little bit shorter. There's not as much work. I want you to read through chapters 1 through 3 of They Say, I Say. There's a link right there that you can click. And explore the focus text a couple of times to let the ideas, images, and other persuasive tactics kind of swirl around in your mind a day or two before you engage in the assignment. Okay, so They Say, I Say is going to help you with the very fundamentals of articulating what a text is saying with skill and efficiency. And that's what you're doing with an analysis. You're analyzing what is the argument and what's their evidence for that argument. Okay? All right. So, I've given you a schedule to help you out. You don't need to follow that schedule. It's just something to help you along. Now, your text for this week that you're going to be focusing on is right here. It's the New York Times The Daily Podcast. Cancel Culture Parts 1 and 2. Okay? So, they're very small. They're very tiny. So you'll click right on 1 and right on 2. I want you to listen to both parts of that before you engage in the discussion board. Now, for the discussion board, what I want you to do is I want you to click on discussion board. And from there, what I want you to do is I want you to click Create Thread. And that's where you're going to see the directions. So after listening to Cancel Culture Parts 1 and 2, use the template below to craft a discussion board post that articulates the argument of the text and the key points of the evidence it uses to make its argument. Okay? So here's what I mean by the template. Let's see if I can make this a little bit bigger, actually. Helps a little bit. Okay, in the New York Times Daily Podcast, Cancel Culture Parts 1 and 2, the journalists report on how cancel culture is what? Now, what I want you to do here is I want you to be specific. I always try to remember that specifics stimulate and generalities bore. So a really boring response here would be, cancel culture is bad. Yes, very good, student. Well done. But specifically, what are the journalists saying within this podcast? What is it doing to our society? Okay, think about that and be as specific as possible. In our society right now, cancel culture is weaponized to, what is cancel culture doing? Now, I want you to pay attention to the text, right? Pay attention to the podcast. You want to try to set aside your own thoughts, feelings, and ideas regarding cancel culture until the very end of the discussion board post or even the comments. So lots of times we feel very connected to a particular theme or idea, especially something controversial like cancel culture, to where you're going to want to have an emotional response where you're saying, cancel culture is weaponized to destroy democracy in our society and civil thinking for generations. Just hold on for a second. What is the text saying? What is the text saying? Focus there. There will be time for that later on. Okay? The journalists claim that blank uses canceling in order to blank. Now, once again, pay attention to the text, right? So don't bring up someone from your own experiences, your aunt is canceling you, whatever. Hold on a second. Who is using cancel culture here? Is it a group of people in particular? Is it an individual that the podcast is addressing? Who is using cancel culture here, and why are they using it? Okay? Which is important because of blank. Why does that matter? So one of those key questions, right? What's the point? This is perhaps most clear when blank, give me a person there, asserts blank. So that might be the name of the journalist or someone they're quoting in the podcast. Give me a quote that they actually say, right? Or when blank, another person argues blank. So notice that you're actually using quotes from the podcast. So you may want to look at the transcript. You may want to listen with a notepad and pen and jot down different quotes. Okay? Now here's where you can introduce your own opinion. And I want to encourage you to be respectful, right? It's okay to use emotion if you're angry, frustrated, whatever. That's okay. But you want to be respectful. Address ideas and don't attack people. Okay? In my own opinion, I think the issues regarding cancel culture are blank. Because blank. Ultimately, the reason why we should care about this is because blank. So lots of opportunity there for you to express how it is you're thinking and feeling. Now, you don't have to use this template verbatim. You can kind of manipulate what it says a little bit, tweak it at the edges. That's fine. I don't care, right? I'm not grading to make sure that you use the template verbatim. But if you do use the template, understand that you're going to be answering the questions that you're required to answer, right? Okay, now in addition to making this initial discussion board post, which we'll do right there, I would highly encourage you to compose this all on a Word document and then copy and paste it into this box. That's what I would do. So in addition to making this initial discussion board post, you also have to comment on at least 2 classmates by assessing their overall argument and giving your opinion of the argument. So you need to address the argument of your peer. I need you to analyze, because it's Unit 1, analyze what it is they're saying. What's the argument that they are making? Okay? Clarify it. Summarize it in your own words. Something that's really helpful that I would highly encourage you to do is actually quote them. Copy and paste their words in your comment. That will help you tons. Please, please, please do that. That will make your grade higher. Do that. Okay? And then once you give their opinion or their argument, I want you to give your opinion of their argument. So what do you think that Billy says that cancel culture is the greatest thing that's ever happened to civil society? What's your opinion of that and why? And be specific. Don't be general. Generalities bore. Don't say, Billy, your idea is bad because it's stupid, right? That's a non-answer, right? Billy, your assessment that cancel culture is helping society is wrong because it's silencing a multiplicity of voices that we need in order to progress and give civil conversations texture. I don't know. I'm making stuff up, right? Okay. And then give me specific real-world examples of your opinion, right? So if you say something like, I think you're wrong because of my experiences, period. Well, once again, you haven't said anything. Can you tell me the experience? Can you give me a brief little anecdote, maybe a story? So in order to earn full credit for this assignment, you must demonstrate that you have given a significant effort, right? And we teachers, we've got a good BS meter, right? We know that when you're kind of faking stuff, especially with English, because let's be real, English is the most BSable subject, right? It's the easiest to give your teachers the idea that you know what you're talking about when you don't know what you're talking about. So I've got to pay attention to my BS meter. If you're just like fluffing stuff and writing to get words on the page, you might not get as high a grade as you think you're going to get. Please make sure that you proofread for grammatical and syntactical errors. I'm not checking for grammar. I'm not looking for comma splices and misplaced modifiers. I'm not looking for stuff like that. But if I see misspelled words and capitalization that's off and punctuation that is distracting, meaning that I can't focus on what you're saying because I'm too focused on your grammar, that's when your grade starts to go down a little bit. And you can stop almost all of those distracting ears just by proofreading. And if you know for a fact that you struggle with that stuff, get your mom to read it. Get your friend or spouse to read it. Please, please, please make sure that your submissions are read over before you submit. It will help you. I promise you, it will help your grade directly. It's one of the easiest things you can do to improve your grade. Okay, and you also get to reveal that you have an understanding of the text. I need to get the sense that when I read your writing, I'm thinking, okay, Susan really did read the text and really grappled with it and understands it. So your initial post must have a minimum of 200 words, which should be a joke. That should be super easy. Please make sure that you know it is a minimum. You can write more. And your comments must be a minimum of 100 words, and that is like bare bones minimum. So if you meet the standards of what I'm asking you, that doesn't mean that you get an A, right? Meeting the standards is usually about a B. So make sure that if you really want an A, you want full credit for this, show me that you are engaging with your peers, you're thinking about them, you're quoting them, you're really grappling with their ideas and giving your own specifically. Okay? All right. So that's the discussion board post. And once you submit your initial post, that's when you'll start to see different things populated in the discussion board where you can click on them and comment. Okay, going back to lessons, one more thing I want to go over. So if you need help, you can email me if you would like. You can also drop in on Google Hangouts between 12 and 2 every weekday. If you can't make it during those times, let me know and I'll try to find a different time for you. Just if you click on Google Hangouts, it'll give you step-by-step instructions for how to make sure that you are using Google Hangouts efficiently and correctly. You can just put it on your phone and you just have to add me as one of your contacts using this email address right there. And then you should be able to text with me or do an audio chat with me or a video chat. Okay? Wow, that was a lot of talking on my part. Please make sure you're aware of online learning resources that'll help you out with stuff that you feel like you're getting snagged with as far as writing goes. You're going to do awesome. Keep your head in the game. Make sure that you submit everything. So the discussion board post, as well as that introductions discussion board post, and all the comments by the end date of your class. So for this class, that'll be June 6th. At 11:59 p.m. and you might be in a different one. So make sure you're paying attention to that date. Okay? All right, y'all have a good week. Let me know if you need help.